Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Netflix's new Belgium import, this animated film, Bigfoot Family. And this is from directors Jeremy de Grussen and Ben Satson, and this is an this is an interesting movie. And I was sitting watching this at the beginning, and I saw that this was in the top 10 on Netflix and getting a lot of attention, some weird attention, because this is about a guy that became a Sasquatch, a Bigfoot, and has a child who has his shared DNA too. And it's just like, wait, what? First reaction was somebody had sex with Bigfoot. And it's just like, no, that's not what happened here, but it's weird. It's still weird. And this is a kid's film. But I was sitting here watching, and it's a very manic start with a lot of crazy energy that felt really overbearing as our Bigfoot character here goes on a talk show and starts telling his whole entire story. And I was sitting here like, this feels like poorly written exposition of a sequel to set up from the last film. And then I looked it up and realized this was a sequel. So I have not seen Son of Bigfoot, so I guess that exposition dump at the beginning helped me out, but it still felt very heavy-handed in the way that they did it. And that whole opening sequence felt too much in terms of just the too much manic energy. And of course it starts right off the bat with these obnoxious animals, talking animals that are not funny and really annoying. And you have this bear and this raccoon that are just too much. Some of the things in this film are too much. Once you get past the talking animal pals here, the film isn't something that I hated. It was something more like I didn't really care and didn't really feel connected and lacked any emotional impact. Because the whole entire story is like, this Bigfoot guy, scientist, seems like he's off being super famous and leaves his wife and son behind, and they wind up going off on this adventure for him to protest this whole drilling thing off in the Alaskan wilderness. And of course it turns into belt buckle, 10-gallon hat wearing villains, and you're just like, of course, it's Doug Dimmadome. The private Doug Dimsdale Dimmadome. That's basically what it felt like big text. And I'm like, okay, well, we're really leaning into the stereotypes here with our antagonists, and the story doesn't really kick into gear into anything that's particularly interesting. I do have to say the action sequences were pretty well put together, and how they were shot and transitioned between shots and scenes. I enjoyed that. It had enough energy and was competently made enough to add a little bit of zest to otherwise a story of a bunch of forgettable and bland characters, and with a stereotypical antagonist, and they're trying to force this little love story as well with our main boy who's part Sasquatch and this girl from school. And you have the annoying animals, the really predictable twists in terms of the antagonists in this film, and it's still such a weird concept, and it begs too many questions that I do not want answered, to be perfectly honest. And I guess they're like, oh, it's a kids movie, they don't ask these questions. Kids ask a lot of questions. But you're just sitting here watching Bigfoot Family and thinking about the animation is fine, fine at best for today's standards. There's so much stronger animation, and this just feels awkward and strange. And for an hour and 25-minute film, I didn't feel like it had a very brisk and coherent kind of narrative structure. It just kind of felt like we're moving along through this story, and didn't really feel too many connections to any of the characters to make me actually care about what's going on. But the action was fun, and yeah, the action was fun. Honestly, that was probably the main thing that I actually enjoyed about this film. Because, like, the humor doesn't really hit either. It has some really low-hanging fruit and really on-the-nose kinds of jokes that just feel forced, and the dialogue isn't very nuanced or interesting at all either. It's either exposition or really bland, standard kind of talking and hitting on many cliches and tropes. So in the end, I feel like Bigfoot Family is, if you're trying to find something to watch with your kids, I think it should be fine. Gets you a little bit of action in terms of something you could appreciate as an adult, but not much else. And I'm interested to see how much the kids actually enjoy this and follow along too, because it's a bit strange. They'll probably like the annoying animal characters that were annoying animal characters. But I'm not a kid, and I don't know if the kids will find them as annoying. Like I did, because I certainly did. But those are my thoughts on Bigfoot Family. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.